So Arthur, why don't you just briefly, for those who haven't had a chance yet to watch your presentation, just introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name is Arthur, and I run a coaching company called ArthurCWoods Coaching, and I do life coaching for teenagers. So I get to partner with parents and help their teenagers develop healthy mindsets and strategic habits for success. And so I do that through one-on-one coaching, like in a virtual environment like this. I also do that through a small group coaching. And then I also get to go out and do a lot of speaking and teaching in person to schools and churches and camps and conferences and all that. So I love working with teenagers. I love working with parents. And so really excited to be part of Teen Summit. This is my first year being part of Teen Summit, and I made day one. So
yeah,
I'm pretty excited about that. Now, since I don't have experience with Teen Summit in the past, I don't know if all the best speakers come on day one or all the best speakers come on day 4, but I'm going to take day one
well,
as like a
that's
huge
the
compliment.
thing, is that all the best speakers are every day. They're all the
Oh,
best, Arthur.
okay. So I have made the best of the
Yes.
best list, regardless of what.
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Yep. Perfect. So for those who are here with us live, we will keep our eyes on the chat. If you have questions for Arthur about your teen or about situations that you want to talk through, scenarios, go ahead and put those in the chat. We did also have a couple sent in beforehand, so I will go ahead and start with those. Okay, so one said, I think my son is a natural leader, especially on his soccer team, but he doesn't think so. Instead, he seems to get down on himself easily.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips?
Well, first of all, I love the fact that you see the natural leadership in your son. I'll be honest, this is a safe space. We can be honest. A lot of times when I give this talk on teenagers being leaders, we get some parents who just kind of smile and snicker under their breath, like, you don't know my teenager. He or she is definitely not a leader. So to start off with the first question of, I know my son has natural leadership abilities, that's a great way to start. That makes my heart happy. But to get to the question, this comes down to a lot of the lies that our teenagers believe about themselves all the time. I was on a coaching call with a teenager yesterday who does not believe he's smart. Now, it was our first call. I'm just getting to know him. And what absolutely blew my mind is we were together for about 60 minutes on a call. The character trait that stood out in my mind above all other character traits that this young man possessed was how intelligent he was. I couldn't believe how intelligent he was. And yet the thing that he kept saying is that I'm not really smart. I thought, wow, this kid he's believing some lies about himself. He doesn't maybe have some great self-awareness. So one of the things that we worked through is, what does it look like to, first of all, reframe that belief? So in this case, it's I'm not a born leader. Mom sees that he's a leader. I would imagine his entire soccer team sees that he's a leader. I would guess everyone who knows him knows he's a leader, but for some reason, he's not believing that about himself. So how do we first reframe that so that he can start believing, okay, I am a leader. Maybe I don't believe it 100%, but I'm going to start thinking of myself as a leader. And then I'm just going to use that as kind of an affirmation over and over again. I don't care if you have to put it on a Post-it note, put it on the lock screen of your phone, or whatever you need to do to see that statement, I am a leader, over and over and over again. In fact, Mom, Dad, you can make that Post-it note and you can slap it on the window of his bedroom or on his bathroom or wherever, put it on his phone. I am a leader, or you are a leader, and just something that he sees all the time, because we know from experience that when we believe lies about ourselves, the best thing we can do is to just inundate ourselves with the actual truth over and over and over again. And it certainly sounds like in this case, if you as the parent are identifying him as a leader, then number one, I would say he is a leader. And number two, go for it. Help him develop that leadership understanding and capability, because I'm sure you're right. I'm sure he is a leader. So affirmations work great for me. I love teaching affirmations to teenagers, and it does help significantly.
Yeah. That repetition is so important
Yeah.
for our subconscious and the thoughts going through our minds. How do you think that this mom can respond when she notices that he's getting down on himself?
Yeah. Yeah, I think as parents, I mean, I get to do it as a coach, but especially as parents, one of the primary things that we can do for our teenagers, or really children of any age, is to be their primary source of encouragement, and be specific about it. I've had some people in my life that they were kind of encouraging people, so everything I did was like, oh, that's the greatest thing that's ever happened into the, no, you have to have some sense of realism, and but you want to go out of your way to encourage, and be specific about it. So as you identify specific things that he's doing well, make sure you're encouraging him over and over and over again. And I would even pepper in that idea that, man, you really showed some really good leadership out on the field today, or over on the bench when you guys were talking. I could tell that the guys were just locked into what you were saying. And as mom, you get to be his source of encouragement. So it all goes back to that repetition, that affirmation, that encouragement. And there's no one better on the planet able to do it than mom and dad. So hopefully that is helpful. Just, it's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to say one thing and he's not going to suddenly say, oh, I am a leader because my mom said it one time. But if you're intentional about just encouraging over time, he's actually going to start believing that truth about himself.
Yeah. I love that you pointed out too, to be specific, because I think that is like evidence for them, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, my mom is biased, my mom likes me, right? Like when you're specific, like you said, it's evidence. It's like, oh yeah, that did really happen. I did really do that. So
yeah,
that's a great piece of advice. I think another thing that has helped is to get kind of curious about that. And so to just say, hey, I noticed that you're down on yourself.
Yeah.
How come? Or I noticed that you're only mentioning the things that you did wrong. Why do you think that is, or something like that? Just kind of get curious and open that conversation.
Yeah.
To see where he feels like he's coming from.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Another question that somebody put in the comments, and I thought, ooh, Arthur's good with this one. So this mom said that she wanted help with goal setting.
Oh, yeah.
She said her teen doesn't do much with her life and doesn't have much of a desire to. Mentioned that there's some social anxiety as well. So I know that you coach kids with confidence, and we kind of talked about this a little bit already, but in this other situation, connected with goal setting and kind of a lack of desire, what would you say to that?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I love goals. I'm a goal setting freak a little bit. I do. My wife and I have goal setting retreats. We set our goals every quarter. Sometimes we hit them, sometimes we don't. But I like goals, and I like teaching goals to teenagers. The only thing I switch a little bit is this is generally speaking, teenagers don't love the term goals. That seems very much like more of an adult word that we use. So I will sometimes use the phrase dreams. What are some of the dreams that you have? What are some of the things that you would like to accomplish? And there's nothing wrong with the word goals, but sometimes just getting them thinking more in like dreams and desires as opposed to goals, which can sound a little bit more formal.
Like homework.
Yeah,
that's what I was just thinking. When you said that, I was like, it does kind of sound like homework. I never thought about that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, go, after our call, go and list 10 goals. That's homework. That's definitely homework. Yeah. But hey, write down journal your dreams. It's the exact same thing. You're just journaling your dreams. It sounds a lot more fun than list your goals. And so, so I think when you're dealing with students who are unmotivated, which I can certainly relate to that when I was at their age, highly unmotivated. My parents did everything they could to try to motivate me, and it just wasn't going to happen. But trying to figure out from your teenager some of those intrinsic motivations, those motivations in terms of like, who do you want to be, who's the type of person that you want to be. And the second one is really more about dealing with the extrinsic, the external motivations. So as you think about what kind of dreams do you have, because we've journaled our dreams, we know what does your behavior have to look like in order to begin achieving those dreams. So there's already external motivations built into things like school, in the sense that if you go to school and you do the work and you get good grades, and you can go to college and get a better job and things will be better, and all of that still exists, and those are good things to remind a teenager of. But I think a lot of times we need a little bit more to say, like, as it specifically relates to you, why should you get out of bed in the morning? Why shouldn't you not, or why shouldn't you spend 8 o'clock? Was the Nintendo when I was growing up. That was certainly an argument between me and my parents. Why should you study a little harder, and help them come up with their own external reasons for why this is actually an important thing. Whether you want to do it in the moment or not, this is actually an important thing. And then the third thing, and this part, is really has to do with incentivizing. Again, there already are built-in incentives to life. If you want a good life, you need a good job. If you want a good job, you need a good education. So that some of that is already built in. But what about additional incentives? I'll be honest. There was one semester where my parents said, "We're going to give you an incentive to get on the honor roll." And I thought, I ain't never getting on the honor roll. That wasn't even, if I passed my classes, I would, they would almost throw me a party. But now they want me on the honor roll. Like they're out of their minds if they think I can get on the honor roll. They said, if you get on the honor roll, we will buy you, and this will date me quite a lot, but that we will buy you Super Mario Brothers 3 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. That's all it took. It was the one time in high school that I ever got on the honor roll, because I was getting a copy of Super Mario Brothers 3. So, but we are talking about, is there some specific incentive that we can provide that that might help them work a little harder toward the dreams that they have, and the things that they need to do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that took that's a long time to get through all of that with all the breaks. So, but
thank you for coming back to us. If there are any other questions in the comments, go ahead and put those in now. And then otherwise, Arthur, I know you actually gave a free DVD, a couple copies of a free DVD series that is, I think it reaches such a specific person that if that person is listening, I want them to know about it. So our free copies have already actually been claimed, but this is still available on Amazon for anybody who you're like, I need that. So will you just briefly tell people what that is?
Yeah, and you're right. This is a niche audience right here. But if this is you, then this is the product for you. But I won't go into the whole story of our adoption journey. My wife and I went on about a 6-year adoption journey that ended up in failure. But during that time, and I was a youth pastor for 10 years as well, I started recognizing that there were barriers to a lot of adoptive and foster teenagers to embracing God. So we created a curriculum, a video series specifically for Christian parents who had adoptive or foster teenagers, to help them talk to those teenagers about God because of some of the trauma that was in their background, some of the ways that they looked at God, especially as God as Father, and those kind of things. So we go through a series of kind of barriers to the gospel, if you will, and help adoptive and foster parents talk to their teenagers about God. So for some of you, you're like, that has nothing to do with anything that I'm going through in my life. But maybe there's that one person who was like, oh my goodness, that is me. And if it is, it's called Trusting the God of the Gospel. It's a DVD series. So you have to go find your DVD player. But yeah, it is available on Amazon.com. And you can also just go to trustingthegodofthegospel.com if that's something you're interested in.
Perfect. Okay, question here from Nick and Annette, who are both here. Hello. Said, what if your kids aren't incentivized by things? I told my daughter if she got up and on time for school for 1 week, I'd give her $100. She admitted she didn't want to wake up for the money.
Yeah.
It's a girl after my
Yes.
own heart, actually. I love Miss Lee.
I can actually understand that. They're you know, I told the story of Super Mario Brothers 3, and that incentivized me for a semester to get on the honor roll. But I also said that was the only semester I ever got on the honor roll. My parents did try it a second month with a new game, and it didn't have the same, you know, the same panache. It didn't work. So uh, these incentives can be really, really challenging to find, and sometimes it's more about what is the more immediate goal or the immediate dream. So what my parents did is get on the honor roll, and we'll give you this game. Well, to get on the honor roll, that's like 3 months of hard work. So I was able to kind of do that for one semester, but at that point, after that, it was like, I can't keep up this pace, or maybe I'm not willing to keep up this pace. So I think when we're looking for incentives, we have to look for very, very short-term incentives. And it sounds like maybe this parent's already doing that, but we do have to run, you know, have that fine line between, are we strategically and intentionally creating an incentive with our teenager, or are we bribing them? And I've never been a fan of bribery. So a bribe might be more, you know, your kid won't wake up, you're shaking them, hey, just, I'll give you $20 if you get out of bed. That's probably a bribe. I don't know if that's really a strategic incentive. But if there is a discussion where, hey, if you get out of bed 5 days a week on time, we'll talk about an allowance or an incentive or some kind of, you know, something like that. So I don't know that I have the exact solution for your scenario, other than to say, try some different things, be patient, and try to get your teenager to give some type of idea of what might incentivize them. Because, yeah, money's not going to incentivize everyone, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's a great point to ask their input. What do you
Yeah.
think? What would incentivize you? And I think starting with those first two that you mentioned that we kind of cut out on, but tapping into that internal motivation too, so that that becomes something that they want. And then we're saying, okay, now how can we help you get that?
Yeah.
Right? Like connecting that thing that you want with something that they also want
Yeah.
internally. And then the incentive is like that boost to get over, yeah, it's hard to get out of bed.
Yeah, it is hard. And at the end of the day, not all kids want to go to school, but all kids want what can come with going to school. And so you kind of have to tap into the future a little bit, the goal, the dream, the incentive. And yeah, that doesn't mean you're automatically going to love going to school. I certainly didn't. It wasn't until I got my master's degree that I really enjoyed school. But yeah.
Good. That's a great question. Thank you for asking. Okay, any others, throw them in there. And then lastly, Arthur, let's have you tell us really quickly about your parent Facebook group.
Oh yeah, so we run a parent Facebook group, and we have just over 100 parents of teenagers right now, and it's just an opportunity for us to stay connected. I try to add a lot of encouragement and a lot of humor. I don't know if you parents out there ever realize, but sometimes being a parent can be really hard. So I find that if it's possible to kind of infuse some humor, infuse some encouragement, that's actually a really, really good thing. And I'm very, very connected, and I do a lot on Facebook. So I'd be happy to have anyone connect with me on my Facebook profile or through the parent group. I always, I'm going to give you the name of the Facebook group. I had to look it up just because I had to make sure I was telling you the right thing. I once did one of these, and I gave the just slightly wrong name of the parent Facebook group, but it's Parenting Teens in Today's World. Parenting Teens in Today's World. You do a search on Facebook, and you'll find it in no problem. And we'd love to have you join us, or you can just find me on Facebook at ArthurCWoods, or connect with me on my website as well, ArthurCWoods.com.
Perfect. We'll put the link also in the comments here or in the description by this live.
Okay.
Ben says, Arthur, you're amazing. Best parenting group ever. Ben is a previous speaker as well, and I couldn't agree more. You are amazing. Thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for giving your time to this Q&A and
Yeah.
for answering these parents' questions. We appreciate it.